Para sa mga kwento ng pagbangon at pagiging kampeon ng mga atleta, ako si Jed Eva, ang current chairperson ng Nowhere to Go But Up Foundation.
Para naman talakayin ng mga hamon at pagbabago sa industriya, ako naman si PG Galang, miyembro ng Nowhere to Go But Up Board of Trustees, and we are your hosts.
Mga ka-sports, muli ninyo kaming samahan pag-usapan ang mundo ng pampalakasan. Whether it is about the historic events in sports, the changes and the challenges in the industry, or just to highlight outstanding athletes, this is the show for you.
Yes, and this is where we talk about our love for the game, your one-stop shop for everything sports, athletes, and the leagues. We will get into the works and the ways. We will dive deeper into different stories for the fans, by the fans. This is TVUP, and we bring you Inside the Games. Now, you know what, Jed? Okay, undeniably, UP is the biggest collegiate league.
Oo, wala naman doubt.
Wala na sigurong may hipagtalo
Wala nang
sa
duda
atin
dyan.
Okay. And then most of the biggest athletes in the Philippines started here. Kabilang na dyan ang Asia's fastest woman, si Lydia De Vega. Ngayon, si world number 2 ng pole vaulter, si EJ Obiena, UST yun. And then, volleyball star, si Jaja from Santiago, I think.
NU naman siya.
NU na making waves in the Japanese Volleyball League.
Oo nga.
The list goes on, and all can count their roots in their UAAP career.
Yeah, kasi iba talaga ang produkto ng UAP. No? Indeed, legend starts here. Pero alam mo, PG, gusto ko rin bigyan pansin ng ilang atleta mula sa UAP schools na pero yung sports sila, hindi man bahagi ng liga. No? Like, Paing Nepomuceno from Adamson, no? Was recognized by the Book of Guinness World Records as the greatest international bowler of all time.
But bowling is not part of UAAP.
Yeah, but walang bowling sa UAP. And of course, we have from UP, we have Jamie Lim, a summa cum laude graduate and SEA Games multi-medalist in karate. No?
Pero wala rin karate sa
Wala din karate.
Madaming ganyan. Gymnastics, wala tayo.
Boxing.
Oo, ngayon,
wala.
Yulo. And then there's boxing. Wala rin tayo nun.
We also get golds there, pero wala din
Billiard,
tayo.
wala rin tayo, no? Billiards.
Billiards, wala.
Wala rin.
Although I wish meron.
Diba, isn't it ironic na most of the sports that we get recognized for worldwide aren't part of UAAP? There is a push now to make it more inclusive or to have it included man lamang, but I mean, there are syempre different financial, facilities-wise, issues to that. So it really shows that while the UAP is a powerful platform shaping the future of Philippine sports, there's still a whole world of talent and potential beyond it that deserves just as much support and investment.
Kaya nga, we asked student athletes which sports they believe should be included in the UAP, and here's what they had to say.
Hi, my name is Matthew Dedios, third year sports science, previous member of UP Valorant team.
Hi, my name is Camille Vico. I'm from BS HRIM, second year standing, and I'm from the UPBS varsity swimming.
So hi, I'm Benny Lara, second year sports science, and I play flag football.
Since bago lang yung esports in the UAP, I think we should add more games from the esports for the UAP. So I feel like better yung mag-add ng more games such as FIFA, CS2, and many more competitive games. There are many more competitive games out there. So I think since esports is a booming category, I feel like it would be good for students who are excelling in these games so that they can actually join and represent the school.
One sport that I can think of that should be part of the UAP is gymnastics. Just because I was really interested in gymnastics when I was younger, so like I wonder why they don't have gymnastics in the competition.
Well, to be biased, I would love to see flag football be in the UAP some years from now. But I also believe that other sports like women frisbee are also in the running for to be the next sports in the UAE.
Maraming masasayang na potential. Kasi pag tagal yung bigay, hindi talaga ng mga tao na magaling to or general matalino, etc. I feel like if we had more sports into the UAP, yung may mga hidden gems na makikita natin or ma-identify natin. Also, sayang kasi yung mga, for example, there are clubs in the university like flag football na one of my friends actually just competed in a tournament and actually won. So that's also parang na-represent na rin yung Philippines. And sayang na parang walang UAAP na flag football, for example.
I think it's for more inclusivity because like all the sports that are included in the UAP as of now isn't really all the sports in the world. So that I think like, there are more interesting sports like I said, gymnastics or like even diving, other forms of artistic swimming, martial arts, or even just other indoor sports that aren't really that popular in the Philippines that I think they should have more spotlight as well as the other sports that are already in UAP, just like our sport, which is swimming or like basketball, volleyball, all the other sports. And I think it would be more fair if we include more and it would just add more excitement in it.
I think it gives a better representation of the other sports that are present in the Philippines. Sports that have really good and thriving communities. Like what I mentioned, flag football and ultimate frisbee hopefully one day could be on the same level as sports like basketball, football, and all that.
30 years from now, I feel like UAAP will have like, more diverse or mas malawak na rin yung sakop nilang sports. Kasi for me, important yung sports in the university. Marami rin sumisikat because of the sport.
Ideally, I envision UAP, aside from being more inclusive, I guess it would be more exposed, I think, to the media. Because like ngayon, diba, it's more of basketball, volleyball, like men's and women's lang respectively. So like, I feel like even if with the sports that we have now, parang there needs to be more of exposure or more of a push towards that direction. Kasi nga parang there's not really such progress in that aspect na parang yun nga, we have these sports na pero other people like the audiences, they don't have any idea how these sports work or how exciting it is or interesting it is.
Well, hopefully there are more sports, and hopefully I do believe that 20 years from now, the UAP will be a much greater commercial product than it is right now. And I hope that sports will eventually spread more on different kinds of media.
Wow, those were really incredible insights from our student athletes. No?
Oo nga,
So,
parang
but you know,
dami.
today, let's dive deeper into that as we welcome today's guest. No?
Yes, actually, I'm very happy about today's kasi nakaka-proud kasi para pwede
Yeah.
na natin siyang talagang anak rin, no?
Part of our family.
Part of our family.
Yeah.
We both know her mother quite
Very well,
well.
yeah.
We're very proud. Joining us today is someone who came from a family of accomplished athletes and is a legendary athlete in her own right. A multi-medal winning karateka and a true pride of UP. Welcome to the show, Jamie Lim. Thank you,
So,
Jamie.
thank you. So nice to have you on the show.
Kailangan bang mag-tiptoe?
Oo nga,
Katangkaran,
eh.
o nga,
So, you look-
katangkaran eh.
We say that Jamie is part of the family because your mother, si Dean Lelen Berbarab, DP College of Law, kasama din natin sa founding members ng
Yeah,
Nowhere to
oh.
Go But Up. No?
At saka basketball fanatic.
Oh.
Yes,
Ang
yes.
mother mo. Basketball, talagang parang lives, breeds basketball.
Which is actually one of the first questions I want to ask. No? I mean, your father, of course, is we all know your late father was si Samboy Lim, no? Great basketball
Legend.
player, legend basketball. And then you come in here and you're like a heads and shoulders above us, literally.
Literally.
So, could you share us how your journey in sports began and why instead of not playing for the UP basketball team,
Oh, hindi ka ba nirecruit? I'm sure you were heavily recruited.
bakit karate hindi basketball?
Oo nga.
Okay, so when I was young, of course I had to do sports kasi dad being my dad,
Oh.
it should be part of my life. So mom would enroll me in different sports every summer. So I tried a lot. Gymnastics, swimming, karate. Kasama na rin ng basketball actually. And sabi ni mom, magaling ako mag-layup.
Oh,
Pero sabi niya, puro lalaki daw. Like in 200
okay.
meters.
Ah, okay.
Ako lang
So
daw yung
conservative
girl.
si mami.
Yes, at 5 years old.
Grabe naman.
Galit na siya
Ate
doon.
Lelen.
Yeah, so sabi niya, okay, switch sport tayo. And then I ended up in karate. Dahil important daw ang self-defense. So they put me there and then...
Talagang si mami ang nag-dictate, ano?
Yes, actually. And then sabi ng coach ko, I should continue, not just do it for the summer, but try competitions. And then I did. And then, yun, I've done it for over 20 years na.
And you brought great pride to the
Yeah.
Philippines.
Thank
Maraming
you.
salamat.
Thank
So
you.
coming into UP, have you ever considered transitioning to a sport closer to karate like taekwondo? Because taekwondo,
Yeah.
or pumse even, is that's close to karate. It's a UAAP sport. Hindi mo naisip yun,
I
ano?
know, yeah, but I've been doing karate since I was 6 years old, and then coming into UP, I was 18. And then, idol ko si mom. Gusto ko maging summa cum laude. So,
Naging grabe, no? Parang
ganun
ano
lang.
ano, gusto ko maging summa cum laude. So gagawin ko yun, di ba? Parang sana ganun lang kadali.
yeah, so I got into applied physics first, but I shifted to math kasi yun pala yung mas gusto ko.
Actually, as an aside,
Yeah.
nung ginawa mo yung thesis mo, your mom was so proud. She took a picture and showed us the title of your
Yeah,
thesis.
the
Parang
long
first
title.
2 words pa lang, parang hindi ko na kaya to. Hindi ko kaya intindihin.
Yeah, so math. It was actually very hard. So I wanted to continue karate pa, and it was a dream sana to be part of the UAAP. Kasi UP fight like almost my whole family's from UP. Yeah, yung mga kapatid ni mom. And I was sad na karate isn't part, and my mom actually tried to push for karate in the UAAP before. So nagtatanong-tanong na, but I think it's gonna take a while. So hindi
Yeah,
siguro
there are
aabot.
requirements kasi for that. Like, there should be a minimum number of schools who can
Exactly.
field
At least
teams.
4.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least
Yes,
4.
yes,
At
no.
least 4. Okay, for those who are wondering, for those watching us, okay, ang minimum kasi ng UAAP for any sport, one of the rules is that at least 4 universities or members should be able to field. Diba? Should be able to field participants to that sport. Otherwise, hindi nila masasali yung sport. So, walang masyadong nagkakarate sa ibang ano.
But,
Yeah.
but I'm not sort of surprised kasi pumse is a UAP sport. And
Parang
then
feeling ko
karateka
masali
is
yung
not.
pumse eh.
And a lot of, like, at least when I went to high school and grade school, no, parang marami nagkakarate. So, were you like kind of surprised to find out UAP didn't feature karate?
I know, but for some reason in this country, medyo mas sikat ang taekwondo. That's why it's part of the UAAP. And it's
the
also
K-pop thing.
probably. Oo nga eh. So wait, the reason mom chose karate pala instead of taekwondo is because she likes Japanese food more. She likes Japanese.
Ganon-
So my future was shaped because my mom likes
Because
Japanese
of your mom's
food.
appetite.
My
Dining,
yeah.
dining preferences.
Yeah. So
Talaga?
learning, yeah. yeah.
Nakakatawa naman yun. Pero hindi, well, ang galing mo pala sa karate, o di ba, na nanalo
It took
ka.
a while though. It took a while.
Of course, you were training for karate all your life. When you entered UP, and of course, iba yung academic requirements, goal mo pa bang summa cum laude, how difficult was it for you to like balance your studies with, training
Oh, yeah.
for the national team yan, di ba? So how did you balance it?
Actually, during my college years, I wasn't part of the national team yet, so I only joined after graduating. Pero during that time, so I was training in my private club. The first year, nahirapan ako sa UP. Ang bigat pala. Mahirap pala siya. So, as much as I
naniniwala
wanted,
sa'yo, sumakumlaw.
it
Pero
took
sige.
so much hours to study. So I actually laid low sa sports, and I wasn't really training for the 4 years I was in UP. So yung coming back to it after graduating, that was like I had to turn around very quickly and start remembering how to do karate.
Pero ang bilis naman if you laid low and then suddenly
Yes,
you went
ito
my
yung
back.
sasabihin ko, di ba?
gosh,
Parang
yeah.
talagang natural talent rin, di ba? You can't discount that,
Oh
no?
my
Na
gosh.
parang the samboy genes
Yes,
is in you,
it is
di
the
ba?
jeans. Malakas
samboy-
yung jeans niya.
Di ba? Na parang anything that you decide to do physically. Kasi who can say that, di ba? Na I laid low for mga 3-4 years and then I
Suddenly,
I took it up. Tapos
Oh
after
my
a
gosh.
year, ito na, may gold medal
Oh,
na
it
ako.
was the same year actually. So 2019 I graduated June, December yung SEA Games. So I had to
Kaya nga, di ba,
remember
parang-
5 months.
parang sobrang unfair na.
Oo nga. Diba?
Oh
Kainis.
my gosh.
Diba?
Umiiyak ako every day though because of training, sakit sa katawan,
Pero diba,
frustration,
nung nakuha mo
parenting,
naman yung
no?
gold,
Yeah.
diba? Worth it. Ngayon, sige, sa karate yung sa'yo. In your opinion. So, kasi ngayon may esports na, di ba? Bago
Yeah.
mo.
Oh, nasa UAP
Yeah.
ng esports, no? Esports.
Oo nga,
UAP.
sign of
3
the
by
times
3,
ngayon, di ba?
diba?
May 3x3 na. So,
What your
Tingin
thoughts
mo?
about that? Yung mga, example, when you hear that may esports
pero ang karate wala.
and 3 and 3, ano?
I'm happy, of course, for those sports kasi nadadagdagan na ng representation and it's out there, more popular na. Of course, nainggit ako for karate kasi of course it's gonna be special to my heart and I've always wanted it to be part of the UAAP.
Well, you should kasi meron ka ng voice because you've been winning you can actually lobby for it
I do want to. I hope so. Pero at least step by step. So I see this as a positive thing na because we're able to add more sports, baka in future it's
Anong sport ang gusto mong idagdag?
Siyempre, martial arts, karate. So, ang alam ko ngayon, taekwondo and judo ata ang nasa UAAP.
Yes, yung dalawang And pumse is yung parang...
yung form sa taekwondo. Yeah. So, siyempre, karate yung sasabihin ko. And other martial arts din. My good friend Agatha, wushu. Yan, hindi rin sa part.
Hindi ba kasamang wushu?
Hindi
Ay,
din.
hindi.
Yeah,
Yun yung may
boxing.
weapon, di ba? Yun yung
Yes, merong weapon, meron din wala.
Yung either the spear or the parang itak.
Yeah.
Parang so, sorry. Diba?
Yeah,
Hindi
but
ko hindi ko
also the other sports, just like sina Heidelin, weightlifting, and Carlos Yulo,
Weightlifting,
gymnastics.
that's a good point. Weightlifting.
Yeah.
You were saying nung nagsimula nga na parang those sports that we excel in are actually not
Yes,
well
yes,
the
exactly.
international stage actually.
In fact, ang weight training kasama pa nga sa PE yan dito sa UP. It's part of our...
And any athlete who wants to excel, and sabi nila ba kailangan magbuhat. Diba? Yung hindi ka pwedeng hindi nagbubuhat.
For sure, yes,
Even
tama.
kahit yung esports, they have to. Kasi mahirap yung nakaupo yung their brain and mahirap
you have
rin
to
yun.
be fit at
They have to be
least.
fit also. So it's a misnomer na say e-sport, di naman talaga sport yan. I would beg to disagree na ganun kasi mayroon akong kasama na nagtitraining e-sport. Kailangan raw Diba? So aside from martial arts, kasi like for example, boxing, hindi rin kasama.
Oh yeah, yun din. So parang yung mga kasama ko sa national team, they put their sports on the map. So sumisikat ang sports dahil sa nila, like the boxing, gymnastics. People, now kids see them and sasabihin nila, kaya natin mag-Olympic gold, kaya natin mag-medal sa Olympics.
Gusto mo mag-Olympic gold?
I've always dreamed of, pero karate is not part of the Olympics also. Just like UAAP, bakit kami kawawa? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kawawa kami.
Ano kaya nangyari sa karate at biglang it's no longer part of the
I don't know.
I guess it's a generational thing. When I was younger,
Si
in grade
Bruce Lee
school,
kaya yun.
in grade school,
Oh
a lot of
my.
the kids were into karate. That was what that was the sport. That was the martial art being taught.
Oo nga.
Pero when we went to high school, parang dumami yung
Taekwondo and
judo.
Mas ano. But even if you talk about movies, diba? It's like karate movies.
Exactly,
diba?
Karate
movies,
Kid. So, I thought
Kill Bill.
na masisikat. I
Ano
thought
ba yung Enter the Dragon?
But
Si Bruce Lee nga.
you
Si
know,
Bruce Lee.
Karate Kid, when showed here, you were not
Karate
even...
ba yung Karate Kid? Ako
It's
lang.
karate.
I think it's
What's the difference?
Kung fu.
Sige nga, what's the difference between karate and taekwondo?
Yeah,
You
so
think I wanna know.
ang taekwondo, alam ko mas marami siyang kicks, more kick variations. But we have more punch variations. Tapos, iba din yung setup niya. Like, taekwondo is 2 minutes of 3 rounds. Kami naman 1 minute of 3 minutes. 1 round of 3 minutes lang. So
So yung nasa Karate Kid, and of course now it's even on Netflix, diba? Yung tournaments that's karate.
actually, parang kung fu yung Karate Kid eh. It's just the name Karate
Actually,
Kid.
what's the difference between kung fu and karate?
I don't know na. Pero yung karate, meron kaming gloves, meron kaming mouth guard, and we spar.
Okay.
And yeah, it's actually interesting to watch. It's a lot of thinking.
So si Bruce
Yeah.
Lee is kung fu. My kung fu is better
Yeah.
than your kung fu.
Probably,
Yes.
yeah.
That's
probably,
kung fu.
probably. Yeah.
Okay. So in your opinion, should the UAAP prioritize adding internationally recognized sports or just focus on locally popular ones? Like, for example, ano ba, yung sa kanina, di ba, yung, hindi mo kanina, yung pinag-usapan natin, arnis.
Arnis, sepak takraw.
Sepak takraw. Sepak takraw is not so,
Well, arnis
well,
at
sa
least.
Indonesia, it is a big thing. But sa atin, arnis. Arnis is actually quite popular. So, do you think?
Yeah. Actually, there's value in adding both, of course. So, local sports, syempre, we want to celebrate our culture and yung mga gawa nating Filipinos. But also for the international ones, I think it'll give us an avenue to train
develop.
grassroots
Yeah.
development, yes, for the SEA Games. Syempre, special sa akin ng SEA Games. Bigger competitions, sa Asian Games and Olympics even. So, having it in the UAAP would be a very good thing for us.
Okay, sa yung mga sports kasi na sometimes, like for example, gymnastics, na si Carlos
Yeah.
Yulo, di ba? That's hard for universities actually. It's nice to see, but I mean, magastos kasi yun.
Right,
Di ba?
right.
Magastos. So, yun yung mga ibang factors kasi na, so, if you know, parang what are the other key factors? Like for example, in karate, yung tinatry ng mom mo to have it included. Ano yung sinasabing dahilan bakit hindi? So, yung mga factors on why one sport should be considered to be introduced.
Oh, it's actually the member university. So, syempre, dapat sikat din yung sport. Dapat marami nagpa-practice ng sport. That's one thing. And I'm sure it's different na now. Sana, now na mas sikat ang SEA Games, mas celebrated siya, especially because we hosted nung 2019. It was in the Philippines. It's more out there. It's more popular. And now na may nananalo na sa Olympics ng gold, mas celebrated na ang different sports. So I think that could be something different.
Like for you,
na.
sa karate, kunyari, since may resistance, for example, other universities who may not have karate athletes, di ba? Locally ba, meron bang mga local tournaments for karate?
Meron. So we have national championships every year.
Meron.
Meron naman pala eh.
Meron. Yeah, especially like for the national team, kailangan nila mag-hold ng competition for that. To see kung sino yung mga national team members. And actually, maraming sports.
May sa SEA
Yeah.
Games, obviously, may karate.
Of course, yes.
Asian?
Meron din, yeah.
So bakit wala sa...
I think on that part, you're saying what factors are considered. So far, obviously, you said it's yourself, right? The UAP is looking at the membership or the member schools who can participate, 4 or 5, 4 minimum. But I guess on one hand, no, maybe the sports associations themselves should be more aggressive, no,
Right.
in talking to the UAP and
Yes.
even the NCAA to include the sports kasi parang lab nila yan development.
Yeah, kasi minsan
Correct,
nga ang random like for example, si EJ Obiena. Ako nagulat ako na, meron palang pole vaulting. It's so, when it's supposed to be parang for me, that's one of the, ako, tao, parang,
Inaccessible.
it's inaccessible, diba? How many can have that field to run into and then have yung big pole? While karate or other, boxing, karate, sepak takraw even, or arnis, hindi ganun kahirap to
Yes,
get
Yeah.
into
Let me
eh.
ask lang, kasi we're talking about accessibility. What kind of equipment do you really need for karate? For example, is there any equipment needed?
And this is
aside
para
from-
lang malaman, di ba?
Yeah.
Na parang it's not just parang yung resistance ng mga universities. It's not just because, wala namang it's more of, what do they need to be
anong
able to
facilities?
develop into that? Kasi kesa naman sasali ka na hindi mo mabibigyan yung...
Oo. Actually, madali lang ang martial arts because we already have taekwondo and judo. So, parang hindi sila lalayo doon. So, we just need a mat, we need gloves and like protection here. Mouth guard, that's it. And coaches. So, it's just really space. Wala masyadong big na space na kailangan or like equipment. So, boxing and karate and other sport, kickboxing.
Ba't mag-coach ka ng karate? Tapos
yeah.
di ba? Madaming sasali sa'yo.
Pwede.
Pero wag ka lang
fight for
tuturo
this.
ng mas. Baka mamaya.
Huwag ko ihalo.
Huwag mo ihalo. Baka walang pumunta sa'yo. So, what are the other challenges that you see in the UAAP, di ba, when expanding its sports offerings? Di ba? And ikaw, nalaman mo na to dahil you were already, you really wanted your sport to be there. So, how do you think that ikaw sa magagawa mo, how can you address that? How can it be addressed? Na para lang lumawak naman.
Yeah, actually, I think one of the yung mahirap sa akin when I was in college was the time to study. So kasi gusto ko ng math, mahirap, and I needed a lot of time to study. So siguro the training should be apt for that, either really early in the morning or really late at night, and like won't clash with the scheduled classes. Ganun.
But you're Jamie Lynn. Diba? You're Jamie Lynn. Sumablaude ka ng math. Diba? But you raised a good point, no? Na for a sport to be included, diba? Let's say, there has to be talagang willing athletes na talagang aangat eh. Chicken and egg eh. Should the sport be there first? And then we develop the athletes to be in that sport, or should there already be athletes first that UAP cannot ignore? Nandiyan na eh.
I think that's why I think that's where the practitioners of the sport the associations,
That's where you come in,
should be
di ba, na
more
parang-
aggressive, I think. No? If they want to lobby, I think the UAP naman has proven in the past na willing siya to listen. No? So I think it's not impossible to envision, for example, one of the sports association having an MOU with the UAP na in X number of years to introduce the sport. Parang, if you say kasi na in 2028, we're going to be introducing this
Karate.
sport, it might be at least alerted yung mga high school students
To train their
to
young
train.
ones
Yeah.
already,
Yeah.
di
Para
ba?
alam nila na pag year na to, mag-i-introduce to, pwede
Parang
na
yung
sila
sinasabi
mag-ano sa
kanina
schools.
ni tayo, well, speaking with Jamie, let's say, for karate. Nung bata tayo, maraming karate
Oo.
practitioners. Tapos, parang na-overtake,
Yeah.
nag-overtake ang
Taekwondo.
taekwondo. So, yun yung sigurong problema rin, di ba? Na parang, there should be also effort, grassroots,
Yes.
to have it there para the UAP will have no choice. Ang pinagtataka ko nga lang yung mga, let's say, boxing.
Yeah,
Boxing, Diyos ko, grassroots lang. Wala tayong pag-uusapan dyan. Diba? And in fact, boxing was included. Alam ba yun na 1939, one of the originals, nawala na lang siya. Diba? Nawala na lang ang boxing. Siguro ayaw nilang makita kasi it's one of the rawest.
Right, yeah.
They don't wanna
Isa pa yun.
see kids
blood.
beating up each
but
other.
you have, diba,
Right, if
pag
it's
amateur
amateur,
naman, they have
yes.
headgear. Kompleto naman yan eh.
And then how different is it from, let's say, sparring sa taekwondo na nagkakasakitan na rin naman. No pain, no gain, you know? Hindi.
Gawin nila, yung mga, baka yung mga frats na, pag may away, imbis na mag-rumble sila,
Actually,
bigyan ng boxing,
kasi
bigyan ng
bata ka, bibigyan kita ng ano tulungan natin kung ano. Diba? So, how do you, ikaw, natatawa tayo ngayon, pero actually it's a serious, diba? Parang, if we do that, kailangan naman talaga we look at the other sports kasi, diba, well, although our heart wants basketball, sometimes we see it na the world is telling us you're good in other things.
Yes.
You're
yes.
good in other things. So, knowing that, how do you envision the UAP in the future, ikaw, Jane?
So, I see the UAAP adding a lot more sports.
Like what? Sige nga, kanina tinanong ka
Siyempre,
namin.
karate,
Oh,
una
siyempre,
ko
karate.
sabihin.
Aside from karate.
So, yung mga nakikita ko is the ones na sumisikat because of the recent wins ng mga Olympians natin. So, boxing really should be there.
So, parang
Feeling
you should,
Manny Pacquiao pa.
Diba? Read the writing on the wall.
Yeah, yes. We're good at these sports eh. Yung mga gymnastics, yung mga individual sports, magaling din tayo dyan. And yung mga may category na weight. We're really good and we're really hardworking kasi as Filipinos. So as long as we get the opportunity na magandang coaching, competition, so once our universities have that, gagaling din tayo eh. And then it will perform sa SEA Games and then we'll see na we really are good sa sports.
Sayang like for example, if we had karate we would have like tons of golds because of
Yes.
Jamie. Diba? Sayang yung medal doon. Sayang yung championship natin sa karate.
Pero okay, a good point
Kay UAAP,
to
please.
bring up individual sports, no? Mas cost efficient talaga ang individual. Mas matipid or it's not as expensive to develop individual athletes, no? In our experience sa Nowhere to Go Batap, no? Ang teams malaki talagang budget kasi you're talking about 15, 20 people that you have
For
to
one
support
event.
for one event, no? So I can understand how maybe if there's billiards, pwede mas madali, di ba? Although lamang ata yung UST pag billiards dahil puro billiards.
Yes, nga, yung mga nasa university belt, madaming bilyaran sa kanila.
Lugi tayo doon, lugi.
That's stereotyping. Talaga. But anyway, jokes aside. Diba? As an accomplished athlete, what advice can you give someone na nagsisimula pa lang?
I think it's to go for it. Kasi when I was young, I was really bad at karate. So 3 years ako.
Parang hirap isipin na.
And then, but really, you can ask my mom, 3 years ako talo ng talo. And then she would give me the talk every month kasi natatalo ako. And
3 years kanta.
Yes.
That's a nice
It's
Imagine mo,
yes.
any other person kung 3 years kan laging talo.
Yes.
You would have shifted. Why did you
yes,
shift?
or quit. I attribute it to my mom. I always wanted to quit. Pero she said the 6-year-old will not make the decision here.
Ay, just naman 6 years. Ano ba to? 6 years old.
Yeah, when I was young, I didn't want to do it. But she said, no, continue. And you can only learn good things in sports.
That my takeaway from this, not just 6 years old. And you know what, Jamie
Yeah.
accomplished. Summa cum laude. So yung pinag-uusapan natin na how sports can enhance
Mold character.
mold
Exactly.
character. Di
Grit,
ba?
grit.
Grit, oo, na
Really.
you can fail and fail and fail, but eventually,
Stick with it.
Yes.
panalo. Yung
Yeah.
grabe. Di ba?
Magandang lesson yan para sa mga viewers natin.
Okay. Saka
So-
sa mga magulang na pag 6
Oh,
years
yeah.
old, huwag kayo makikinig
Yes.
doon.
O kayo yung boss.
Oh, you're the parent.
Yeah. Anyway, maraming salamat, Jamie, for joining us here today. I'm sure that our viewers learned a lot and felt inspired, are very inspired from today's episode. So everybody's watching, don't quit, ha?
Don't quit, ah. Be like Jamie. Be like Jamie. Thank you very much, everyone. Makita-kita tayo muli hanggang sa susunod na episode. Once again, this is TVUP and we bring you
Inside the Games.